Cristiano Ronaldo had always been one to push boundaries, both on the football field and in life. Having won countless accolades, titles, and achieved international fame, he found himself needing a bit of a break from the intense schedule that had defined his career. A few days off, away from the limelight, was exactly what he needed. So, he decided to take a short vacation, one where he could focus on relaxation, a little bit of personal development, and, of course, stay in shape. It was a small, quiet coastal town, far from the buzzing media centers and the constant pressures of fame. He chose a luxurious but somewhat secluded resort, nestled between a sprawling beach and a scenic mountainous landscape. While the serene location was perfect for recharging his mental batteries, the resort had an upscale gym that catered to the guests who wanted to keep their bodies in peak condition. Ronaldo was known for his dedication to fitness, so the gym was the perfect place to blend some relaxation with a bit of his usual discipline. The first morning, he walked into the gym dressed casually in workout gear, a plain white t-shirt, black shorts, and a cap. No one would know who he was here, no fans, no autograph seekers, just the freedom to work out in peace. He had come here to train, not to be Cristiano Ronaldo, football icon. As he walked past the rows of machines, treadmills, and dumbbells, he could hear the gentle hum of the gym's atmosphere, an environment where every individual seemed to be focused on their personal goals. Ronaldo began his usual warm-up routine, stretching and lightly jogging on the treadmill. He felt a sense of calm as he worked his body through its familiar motions. But as he pushed himself harder, getting into a rhythm, he noticed a pair of eyes on him. At first, he thought nothing of it. After all, people often stared at him due to his physique. But when the young woman came over, he felt a slight shift in the air. "Excuse me," she said with a bright, friendly smile. "Are you a trainer here?" Ronaldo raised an eyebrow, wiping the sweat from his brow. "No, I'm not a trainer. I'm just here to work out," he replied, a little confused by the question. She smiled again, clearly unaware of who he was. "Oh. I'm sorry, you just look like you know what you're doing. You're so fit." Ronaldo chuckled and glanced at his toned reflection in the mirror. "I suppose I've had a lot of practice," he said, modestly shrugging. He could see the woman was enthusiastic, perhaps even a little embarrassed at the misunderstanding. "No, seriously," the woman continued. "You've got that trainer vibe. Do you have any tips for us?" Now, Ronaldo was intrigued. He had always been a leader, a guide, whether it was on the football pitch or in life. And despite his fame, he had a strong passion for fitness and health. But what caught his attention was the second person who had quietly been standing off to the side, the man who had been watching them. The man, maybe in his late 20s, stepped forward after a moment of hesitation. "She's right," he said, gesturing toward the woman. "You definitely have the physique of a trainer. Maybe you could give us a few pointers?" Ronaldo was still a bit perplexed. It was clear they had mistaken him for someone else, but he found it amusing. It wasn't every day that someone approached him in such a candid, nonchalant way. It was refreshing, in a way. "Well," he said, glancing at both of them, "I do know a thing or two about training, I suppose. I can give you some advice, if you want." The woman and the man exchanged surprised looks, clearly delighted by the prospect. The woman eagerly handed him a nearby set of dumbbells. "We were just about to work on our upper body today," she said. "Do you have any tips for that?" Ronaldo, in the moment, thought it would be fun to play along. "Okay, let's start with the basics. Are you both familiar with proper form?" They nodded enthusiastically, though the man looked slightly uncertain. "I think so," he said. Ronaldo began guiding them through the exercises, demonstrating the proper posture, grip, and movements for the chest presses, curls, and shoulder exercises they were going to perform. It felt a little odd to him, but in a good way. He was used to coaching teammates, giving advice, and breaking down football strategies, but this was different. The satisfaction of seeing someone improve and feel confident was still the same. "Remember," Ronaldo said, looking at the man with a grin, "form is everything. If you don't have good form, you might hurt yourself. It's not just about lifting heavy weights." The woman, clearly excited to learn, nodded. "Got it," she said with a smile, following his instructions closely.
Ronaldo couldn't help but notice the effort and focus they both put in.
There was a sense of dedication in their approach to fitness that mirrored his own. After about half an hour of demonstrating different exercises and offering personalized tips, Ronaldo noticed a few more people in the gym looking over in his direction.
Some seemed a bit confused, others curious.
He had become the unofficial trainer for the moment, and he enjoyed the interaction. It felt oddly fulfilling to share his knowledge and inspire others, even in a completely different context than what he was used to. As the session came to an end, the woman and the man thanked him profusely. "You're really good at this," the woman said with a wide grin, impressed by the way Ronaldo carried himself.
"You should definitely be a trainer." Ronaldo smiled, wiping his face with a towel. "Maybe I will. It's been fun. But I'm not a trainer, I'm just a guy who likes to stay in shape."
They both laughed, clearly appreciative of his humility, before walking off to continue their own workouts. As Ronaldo leaned against the wall for a brief rest, he found himself reflecting on the unusual turn of events. The mistaken identity had brought a brief change of pace in his life, a moment where he was simply a fitness enthusiast, not a world-famous athlete. But as he sat there, catching his breath, he heard a familiar voice calling out.
"Mr. Ronaldo, I am so sorry." Ronaldo turned to see the gym's owner, a middle-aged man with glasses and a nervous demeanor, approaching him.
The man had clearly recognized him now, though he hadn't earlier.
Ronaldo smiled in recognition.
"It's no problem," he said, raising his hand to signal that everything was fine. The owner seemed embarrassed. "I didn't realize you were here incognito," he said with a slight bow.
"I'm terribly sorry for any confusion." Ronaldo chuckled. "It's okay. You know, this is kind of fun."
The owner looked relieved, though he seemed a little sheepish.
"I just wanted to make sure everything was okay. It's not every day that someone like you visits our gym." Ronaldo gave a reassuring nod. "No worries at all. It's good to be here." As the gym owner apologized again, Ronaldo couldn't help but smile.
His vacation had just taken an interesting turn. The day had been one of unexpected interactions, and he was actually starting to enjoy it. The gym owner, still visibly flustered, began to walk away after offering a few more awkward apologies. Ronaldo, however, couldn't help but smile to himself as he stood there, taking in the situation. It had been an interesting morning, one that had started with a simple workout and had somehow turned into an accidental teaching session. There was something refreshing about it, the change of pace, the chance to be recognized not as a football legend, but as just another person in the gym, trying to stay fit.
As he walked over to the free weights section to finish his workout, Ronaldo's thoughts kept drifting back to the encounter with the young woman and man.
For someone who had spent his life in front of cameras, under public scrutiny, and surrounded by high-stakes competitions, this was a rare moment of anonymity. The absence of any fanfare or pressure had been strangely liberating. He lifted a dumbbell and began his set of bicep curls. His body was no stranger to hard work, so the motions felt smooth, automatic. As he focused on the rhythm of the exercise, his mind wandered, trying to make sense of everything that had just happened. "Maybe this is what I need," he mused, his breath steady, "a chance to escape from the spotlight and just be myself." The gym was quiet, save for the hum of the machines and the occasional clink of weights. Ronaldo could feel a shift in the air as a few other people started to notice him more clearly. He knew that, eventually, word would spread. After all, Ronaldo wasn't just any athlete, he was a global icon. But for now, at least, there was a sense of privacy. As he continued his workout, a few others approached, mostly out of curiosity. One of the gym-goers, a tall man in his 30s, approached Ronaldo with a tentative smile. "Hey, I couldn't help but notice you earlier," the man said. "I hope I'm not interrupting, but, are you
Cristiano Ronaldo?" Ronaldo paused, wiped his brow, and nodded. "Yes, I am. But I'm just here to train. No autographs, no interviews today." The man laughed. "Oh, don't worry. I wasn't going to ask for an autograph or anything like that. I'm actually a big fan, but I totally understand the need for a break. It's nice to see you just being a regular guy for once." Ronaldo smiled, appreciating the man's understanding. Yeah, it's been nice to be just me for a bit. As the conversation continued, Ronaldo found himself in a surprisingly comfortable position.
The man wasn't bombarding him with questions about football or his personal life, he was just someone who admired his dedication to fitness. There was a level of authenticity in that exchange that Ronaldo hadn't experienced in a long time.
After a few more sets, Ronaldo wrapped up his workout.
He wasn't one to linger, and he had come here to unwind, not to have long conversations. As he made his way to the changing room, he saw the young woman and man from earlier. They both smiled at him, and this time, it was clear they recognized him. "Thanks again for your help earlier," the woman said, her voice more genuine now.
"I actually feel like I learned something today. I might even start working out differently from now on." "I'm glad I could help," Ronaldo replied with a grin. "Just remember, form is key. And consistency. It's not about lifting the heaviest weights, it's about doing it right." The man, who had been a little quieter earlier, chimed in, "Yeah, that really stuck with me. You were great, not just at showing us the exercises, but at explaining why they matter." Ronaldo felt a surge of pride.
It wasn't often that he could leave someone with a sense of improvement that wasn't tied to sports. He had done his part to help them, not as a football player, but as someone who understood hard work, commitment, and discipline. "Good luck with your training," he said to both of them. "Stick to it, and you'll see results."
As they waved goodbye, Ronaldo walked into the changing room.
There, he took a deep breath and began to peel off his sweaty workout clothes. He looked at himself in the mirror, admiring the body he had worked so hard for over the years. Despite all the fame and fortune, it was moments like these, small, personal moments, that reminded him of the deeper reason why he loved fitness. It wasn't about maintaining a public image, a brand, or a title, it was about feeling good in his own skin and pushing himself to be better each day. As he finished up and got ready to leave the gym, the owner appeared again. This time, the man seemed far more at ease. "I just wanted to thank you again for being so understanding," he said with a smile. "I didn't mean to put you on the spot like that earlier, but I've got to say, you made a real impression on my clients."
Ronaldo chuckled. "I didn't expect to give a fitness class today. It was fun, though. I'm happy I could help." The gym owner nodded, a little sheepishly. "Well, if you ever feel like stepping into a more formal trainer role, who knows? You've got the skills. It would be great to have someone like you here." Ronaldo raised an eyebrow, a playful smirk crossing his face. "Maybe I'll consider it. But I think I'm better suited to football for now." The gym owner laughed, clearly relieved. Of course. Just thought I'd throw it out there."
As Ronaldo left the gym, he felt an odd sense of fulfillment. It had been a simple day of training, nothing extraordinary, but in a way, that was what made it special. He had stepped out of the shadow of his fame and enjoyed a moment of anonymity, a moment of simply being Cristiano, not the icon. And for the first time in a long while, he had helped people in a way that wasn't related to his football career. It felt good to be appreciated not for his athletic ability or his fame, but for his knowledge and willingness to help others improve. As he walked out into the bright sun of the resort, Ronaldo felt the weight of the world slightly lift from his shoulders. It wasn't that he minded being a public figure, it had its perks. But there were moments like these, small and unremarkable in the grand scheme of things, that reminded him of the simple joys of life. The freedom to be just a guy, helping others, staying healthy, and enjoying the world around him without the constant pressure to be perfect. Perhaps, he thought as he walked along the beach, this vacation was exactly what he needed. Time to reflect, time to recharge, and time to remember the things that truly mattered. Maybe, after all, a little mischief and mistaken identity weren't such a bad thing. Thank you very much, see you in the next video.